I wish I had the notes in front of me. I'd find it. I should be better prepared, but there was something about you in rehab or...
What?
Do you remember what I'm talking about, Benji? You don't have his notes, do you?
We'll look at it real quick, but it's probably about you hit somebody. You beat. I mean, this stuff you told me.
Oh no, yeah.
Because in light of the AJ Benza thing,
right? No, this actually was the first time I came out with Norma. That's how I got fired from Mad TV.
What happened? I forget.
Well, I had a bad problem with coke at that time, and we went to Vegas to the Tyson Holyfield fight,
right.
First one, and I lost 15 grand on Tyson.
Wow.
And
I can't believe Tyson lost to Holyfield anyway.
Believe me, neither could I.
Right.
Artie probably didn't have 15 grand.
Well, no, I had about 20 G's in the bank of that. This was the second year of Mad TV. We've been on for a little bit. So,
what do you get paid for something like that? A lot of money?
I got $8 grand an episode.
Wow.
So $8 grand a week. I mean, I went from like 10 grand a year to, $8 grand a week.
That's cool.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of coke.
That'll give you a cocaine habit.
That is a lot of coke.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So go ahead.
So we go to Vegas and I lose all that money. And
by the way, I mean, it's not like Artie is a guy who hadn't worked hard for a living. The guy used to drive a cab.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know. I drove a cab.
You worked. You were making 60 G's a year doing some sort of union job, right?
Longshoreman. That was a great job.
Yeah, he was a longshoreman, and even when he went into show business, the longshoremen were like, "You're insane, man! You're going to give up a guaranteed 60 grand?
Yeah, and all those benefits.
Yeah, you don't give that up."
You know what they told him? Because Artie was telling me, they go, "Dude, you barely graduated high school. You're making 60 G's. Where are you going?"
It was your mom and another mom in the audience at graduation.
Exactly.
All right, but anyway, but you know what? The guys are kind of right. You could have had a nice life. 60 grand a year. You're doing the longshoreman thing. You probably don't have to bust your balls, and it was nice.
They were so good to me down there. They were like, they weren't even if you don't make it. They're like, when you don't make it,
yeah, you can come back.
Come right back, man.
Hey, that's nice.
They'll hold your job for you.
So you're making $8 grand a week. You get the coke problem. You go down to Tyson Holyfield. You put 15 down on Tyson.
Yeah, but that I didn't even do in Vegas. I got great odds with a bookie I knew in Staten Island, so I called him.
What were the odds?
Well, I got 3-1.
Wow.
Obviously Tyson was favored, but he was favored by a lot more. So basically, I put up 15 grand to win 5.
Oh, whoa!
Because I thought Tyson was going to kill him.
It was a done deal.
Right.
Okay.
I thought Holyfield was going to die in the ring.
Right.
So I lose the 15 G's, and that's to a bookie in Staten Island, which was just a nightmarish situation. And then I lost another 3.
Why is that a nightmare?
Well, just because the guy he wasn't like, it was a guy I never met before, but I've been dealing with him for a while, and he was kind of a scary guy, I guess.
Right. You paid him right away, right?
I had to like empty my bank account and get him money. But I was in L.A. and he was, in Staten Island. And so then when I got back to L.A., I lost another 3 grand at the table. So I'm down 18 grand. I got all this coke in Vegas, and I just started drinking on the plane. Yeah. We had to go back and do the show. We had to start rehearsing.
A man dedicated to his craft.
I didn't know what to do, so I just said, I'll just stay up the whole week, because I'm afraid I'm going to, not make it to work one day, so I'll just stay up.
Right. That's good thinking.
There's logic.
That's what my therapist at the time.
Coke logic.
That is such coke logic.
I know, yeah, go ahead.
That's what my therapist at the time said, all right, just stay up the whole week. We'll deal with it next week. But
just don't go to sleep and you'll be fine.
So I'm up the whole week, and the 4th day I show up with the same clothes on in a row to rehearse, and I was only in 2 sketches that week. Harry Connick Jr. was the host of the show that week, and I was in one sketch with him, and I was being all belligerent and stuff, and he was like, "What's wrong with that guy?"
You know what you should have said to him? Hey, what's wrong with you? You took a gun to the airport.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to talk?
I'm not loaded with a gun, man. I'm just doing coke. What's your problem?
Did you tell him, hey, look, I'm on coke and leave me alone?
I said, look, it's L.A., man. We're all on coke, right?
Did you actually, when someone says to someone, gee, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You ever just go up and say, listen, I have a cocaine problem?
Yeah, just back off.
Yeah, I got a problem.
Can I work through this difficult time?
Do you say that to him?
I just lost 18 grand.
Or are you like everyone else and you just keep it a secret?
No, it was pretty evident by that point.
All right, so you were honest with Harry Connick,
Yeah. So,
you look like Chris Farley.
By Wednesday night, right. By Wednesday night, I said, all right, I'm going to try to get a lot of this money back. I got to cut into it, which is like typical gamblers crap.
He's going to make it all back.
I'm just going to try to, like, well, I put $5 grand on a Laker-Houston game. Okay, the Lakers were playing the Rockets in Houston, and I'll never forget this. The Lakers were getting, like, 8 points. And I said, there's no way they're going to, you know.
No way. There's no way.
Again, there's more no way stuff.
Yeah, right. There's no way you're going to lose that bet.
I call the book back up, and I say, look, man, I know I'm kind of stretched to the limit here, but I know there's no way.
And he goes, yeah, there's no way, all right.
He takes another 5 G's from me, and I go out that night. And I always say this about gambling. People say, why do you gamble? It's instant fun. Like, if you're bored on a Tuesday night and you got $500 to your name, put $1,000 in the game and get drunk watching it.
Well, you have a problem. And what I like is that your Coke problem doesn't win out over the gambling problem. Right. It's like if you have your Coke problem, you know what? I'm saving my money up for my Coke.
Exactly.
No, you don't do that. You have all your multiple problems.
They're bad vices to mix.
All right. So then you put down the 5 G's.
Right. And I lose. In overtime. Game goes to overtime, which was the worst because the next day is like the big, like they call it.
Yeah. It was a sure thing.
Exactly.
Did you tell the guy on the phone it was a sure thing?
Yeah, the sure thing didn't come through.
Right. I like that you tell the bookie, too, it's a sure thing.
Right.
Can I ask you a quick question? I don't want to slow the story down, but, you know, like if you go to a bar and you drink too much, at some point the bartender stops serving you.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a point where a bookie won't take your bets anymore?
I don't think so, no.
It's just like if you would have said...
If there is, he didn't find it.
Right, no, I didn't find that guy.
Right.
If you said $50,000 on the game... They take your bet and then they'll just kill you.
Not kill you. I think they'll just, you know, try to make you pay it off.
Work out a payment plan.
But there's no bookie in the world who wouldn't take bets. I mean, why not? That's how they make a living. You know?
Right.
But, so it went into overtime, which was, and the next day.